What's up, YouTube? It's your boy. Wait.
Why are we doing this?
I don't know, because it's dumb. That's why.
Dumb.
No, we're gonna do every intro.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are. Who else has it? Who else has it? Oh, this is not my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. This is, well, fuck that. This is my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. So it says Team Misplay on the top. Are you Team Misplay? No. Get this shit out of here. What else is there? Anyway.
I don't watch enough YouTube.
You don't watch enough YouTube?
No.
No. I'm gonna tag you in this so that people find you when they Google you.
That'd be a dick move, seeing as how I have access to the YouTube channel. I'll just mess with it.
Shut up. Anyway. See what you doing back there?
Playing Street Fighter like an asshole.
Beating your meat? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Anyway, we're on our way to locals in Houston. It's about an hour away. Because we're gonna start testing out some decks. You testing out a new build today, Steven?
I don't know. I think we're trying to put forward some ABs.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Really?
You run like 18 traps, right?
Yeah, but I always have an empty back row for some reason. Shit happens.
You hear that?
Heavy storm
Shit
happens.
Heavy storm happens. Anyway.
When MSC that Starlight Road and they hit the other four. It's unbelievable. They always seem to find it.
Yeah. Anyway. So, what do you guys think about the state of the meta of the game right now?
It's good and bad.
How?
There's one deck that's above everything else, and it's just everyone else's job to try and compete with it. I mean, it's Dino Rabbits all by itself, and then it's when you're building a deck that's not Dino Rabbit, it's about, well, how am I going to be able to beat Dino Rabbit? And, you know, and it's just like playing Synchro from last format.
What about Inzectors? They seem to have a pretty decent enough matchup.
You know, game to game, but not over the long haul. Like they can't, they'll never be able. They won't be able to top tournaments against Dino Rabbit until the new set comes out. They lack the consistency. I mean, their monsters are all small. If they don't draw Hornet, they lose. Or if they don't have a way to get to Hornet, they lose. And if you can shut down the first Hornet play and keep it at bay, they lose. It's all about one card that's got 500 attack and 500 defense. It's kind of like it seems like a vulnerable strategy.
Okay. What do you think, Steven?
I feel like Inzectors have a lot. They have an easier way to set up than most other decks. That's why they're second only to Dino Rabbit. I feel like Inzectors and Dino Rabbit aren't too far behind each other, even though Inzectors haven't really won an event yet. But, I mean, you saw it at YTF Dallas, how Inzectors were just keeping everybody else from doing, because the top, like, 3 sets of tables were Dino Rabbit, like, some Dark Worlds, a few 6 hands, and at least 50 Inzector players. And Inzectors is a strong deck, they just need the right pilot for it, and a more consistent build. I feel like they'll probably take one of the next 3 regionals coming up, just because of how strong the deck's been running.
They will not win an event before Overlord comes out. They won't win Chicago.
They won't. Are you predicting they won't win Chicago?
I know they won't win Chicago.
You know they won't.
Yeah.
Put $1 on it?
I mean, was I right about Dallas?
Yeah, you were right about Dallas.
Was I right to a T at Dallas?
Yeah, you were right to a T.
I guess Chaos Dragons.
Speaking of that whole kick, are Chaos Dragons a one-hit wonder, or do you think it's gonna be something that really pushes the meta and shakes up what you think will be in the meta?
Hyper Chaos Part 2.
Yeah.
Hyper Chaos Part 2? That's it. That's all you gotta say.
I mean, it is a one-hit trick pony. Bottomless Trap Hole beats Light Pulsar Dragon. It makes it miss timing. It's not very good. Like, Bottomless Trap Hole will just start to see play again in side decks, which will hurt Dino Rabbit actually, but I mean, if Bottomless Trap Hole can beat a deck, just straight up can win, and just shut down an entire deck, then it's probably not very good. I mean, it got lucky running into a meta where everyone was expecting a lot of Inzector players, and people had sided heavy Shadow Imprisoning, things like that. And those things don't really seem to bother, you know, the Red Eyes play. Like, they really don't care. I mean, 2000's still a beat stick, and that's what they were using it for, but if you can bottomless the Light Pulsar, they don't really get that red eyes back once they use it once. And if they had to waste the resource to get out the red eyes, or removing an on-field dragon, they had to use resources to put on the field. And then you get rid of the red eyes, they don't have a way of getting it back. They're in such a whole card advantage-wise, it's pretty far over. I mean, they can top JD in that Dallas build, but, you know, hopefully you're not, you know, resting your game on top decking the one JD in your build. That's not very, I mean, you can, I guess, but it's not a very good strategy. You're gonna lose a lot more than you win.
What do you think, Steven?
I feel like it's a deck that once you stop their initial big push, they can't really recover from it. So, say they swarm the field and have 5 dragons on the field. They attack, you drop the board, and you draw a pull. That deck can't top deck at all. Like, their only top deck would be a monster reborn to get back a Dungeon's Metal and start their like Pulsar again. But other than that, they can't recover from a big push. So if you have the power to remove cards like Torrential Tribute or Mirror Force.
Torrential Tribute's terrible against that deck, Steven.
Oh.
You want to use Bottomless.
Yeah.
Bottomless hits the light Pulsar and makes it go away. If you use Torrential and they have Red Eyes engraved, you gave them 2 monsters instead of 1. You want to use Bottomless, not Torrential. Slide out your mass removal and slide in your spot removal. And when I say removal, I mean RFG removal, not like Raikou removal. Dimensional Prison. Your phone ring is so lame.
I know it is lame.
Dimensional Prison and like Bottomless are game changer. GD Crow instant do the job. Or if you want to use you can use other cards like Crevice into the different dimension as a trap card that costs about a nickel if you want to.
Yeah, there goes Michael. All the knowledge of all those cards that nobody plays about.
It was really good when it came out. It was a Shining Darkness, and like everyone had to play because you're playing against Sabers. They got a decall to, and that was your only prayer. It was a cheap answer to X Sabers and got him a decall broken. That's why it was played. And zombies were kind of good. So were Black Wings in that format.
Yeah. But yeah, so continuing, you can get rid of their big push.
You can get rid of the big push, and then when they pull the light Pulsar back, or when they pull the red eyes back, you'll be able to get rid of it. Because if they push, and they have the light, and they have the light lock on. Sorry, terrible.
There you go.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Why do you have to do it?
You have to do this turnaround thing. If they have that light lock on with the Pulsar and the red eyes, and if you try and mass get them both, you're gonna have to use 2 cards to get rid of both. Now, if you have a way of punching through the red eyes when they bring it back, or removing it once it hits the grave, with an ED Crow or a warning play or something, then that's fine. That'll work. But you're still using 2 cards to get 2 cards.
Yeah.
Don't let them establish the lock. Use things like Bottomless and Deep Prison, and be able to if you can get rid of the lock once with a card like that, they usually can't put it back on the field once it gets going because they have to remove their lights and their darks for their chaos targets.
Yeah, and remember, the Red Eyes Wyvern is linked to the monster that they banish.
Eclipse Wyvern.
Or the Eclipse Wyvern. They can't just have a bunch of shit banished and then
pull back whatever they want.
The monster that's banished by the Eclipse Wyvern is the only monster that they can grab.
You can't take game notes, but write down, or no, you can't write down, but write down mentally.
Yeah.
Which ones, which Wyverns got which cards.
Yeah, remember that.
And just keep an order, because they're gonna have a lot of cards removed. They can snake that one by you pretty quick if they're in a tough spot, and they're gonna see what they can get away with. So don't get beat by something don't get beat by a cheater. Lose when it's that obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, we play locals where our locals has 4 or 5 dragon players, and I've seen the deck enough times now that I know exactly how it works. But I mean, I keep track mentally which Wyvern, Wyvern number 1 got X, which usually for them ends up being Judgment Dragon. Wyvern 2 got this one, Wyvern 3 got this one. So when they remove a Wyvern, check their grave, see where the Wyvern was, which Wyvern they pulled, when they're pulling it, and then don't say anything until they add back the monster. And if they add back the wrong one, correct them adding back the right one, but don't let them change the removal target if they messed up. Yeah. that's part of being a better player. That's why you should win some games that you like. That's why you win games you shouldn't sometimes, is by just not misplaying on stupid, obvious things like that. It's not worth your time.
Yeah. So, you guys got anything else you'd like to say about state of the meta game? Probably gonna do these videos periodically, talking about different stuff. Be sure to leave a comment down in the section below. Thumbs up, subscribe. Remember, it's not a pro play unless it's a misplay.